Let's talk about safe people. You might ask me, how can I tell if a person is a good person? Usually, when people say good person, they're talking about a safe person. Is there any way to tell if a person is going to hurt you or those you love? A safe person doesn't have a mark on their forehead that we can see. Neither does the unsafe person for that matter. And sometimes a really bad person sounds and looks more impressive than a safe person does. They can romance you and dance you and convince you that they're looking out for your good, and then turn out to be your worst nightmare. So, is there really any way to tell if a person is safe to be around or not? Really, there is no foolproof method, but there are indications as to whether a person is probably safe or not. We're going to look at the definition of a safe person, as well as some of the characteristics that may point to what a safe person is like. Hopefully, you'll be prepared to do two things after listening to Teen Talk 2 on safe people. First of all, you should be able to list at least two characteristics of a safe person. And number two, show which persons in your life are safe and can be trusted inside your boundaries. You'll also learn a little bit about what boundaries means, what healthy boundaries look like, and how you form your boundaries with your own personal values. So, what are some of the clues that tell you a person is probably safe? We're talking about everyone in your life, whether a parent, relative, teacher, boyfriend, girlfriend, or best friend. Figuring out who is safe in your life is kind of like watching a movie where you get one clue after another about the characters until you can figure out what's going on. In real life, there are also some clues that tell us whether a person is probably a safe person or not. Have you ever had a friend like that? You thought they were your friend? Maybe you told them something personal, and they gave you a clue that they couldn't be trusted. They told someone else or talked bad about you behind your back. The first time they smile and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that." But eventually you get the storyline. They can't be trusted. They hurt you and weren't concerned about protecting you or your privacy. Usually you quit believing them. What do you think some of those clues are that tell us a person probably is safe? We can trust them to keep us and our private stuff safe. They stand up for us. They give us good advice. They listen to us when we say no. They respect us, but know when to tell us no, too. These are people who care for us, people who we can count on, people who do not intentionally cause harm or use us for their purposes. The Merriam-Webster dictionary defines a safe person as someone not causing or being capable of causing injury or hurt, worthy of one's trust. Not causing or being capable of causing injury or hurt says to me that the person does not have a plan to hurt us or anyone else. We'll talk more about that later. They're worthy of one's trust. They do what they say whenever it's possible, and they do not take any actions against us. They respect us. And that doesn't mean they don't have rules or provide limits for us. Being a safe person doesn't mean you can walk all over them. We'll see some more about that later on, too. Here we're talking about adults like parents and teachers, but our main focus is on your peers, your classmates. Of course, we love some excitement because some people describe safe people as boring, insipid, dull, mind numbing, old, unexciting, dead, tedious, tiresome, monotonous, humdrum, or uninteresting. To me, those words sound like they're describing zombies from The Walking Dead. It implies they don't even have a pulse. Not an accurate description at all of a safe person. So that brings us to the question, and you'll have to answer it for yourself. Why do some people have those negative attitudes toward safe people? Do you think it's possible you can be safe, enjoy life, and feel excitement? Let's consider a possible scenario. If you were with and were depending on a person who cannot be trusted, and they hurt you immensely over and over again, even though you had some exciting moments in there, would you come to the conclusion that boring isn't so bad or safe? In fact, that safe is much better. If you love excitement and adrenaline, try competing in track or soccer or in a big talent show. There are innumerable ways to find excitement in a healthy way and still be safe at the same time. Think for a moment. Where do you find your excitement? Is what you're doing in your life capable of causing you injury or hurt? You know, perhaps no one has told you this yet, but you are the only person who will always be with you throughout your life. And only you are responsible to take care of yourself. No one else will always be there with you. You are your responsibility. Now, I'd like you to draw a big heart in your notebook. Draw a heart, or it could be a house or a car, whichever you prefer. You don't have to be an artist because what we're going to look at is the lines that separate the inside from the outside. Inside the heart, or car, or house that you've drawn, write the names of people that you can trust, people that care about your well being, people who will not cause you injury or harm. Think critically about the names of people that would be inside your heart. Thinking critically refers to comparing our definition of safe to your possible contestants for inside your heart. Choose persons who will not cause you injury or harm. There may be people in your life who should be there who have not been trustworthy, and we can't put their name inside. There may be a friend or someone else who we trusted for a long time and then found out that they can't be trusted. They were inside, but we had to move them out. Sometimes it surprises us who is there. Remember, inside are the names of people that you can trust, people that care about your well being, people who would not cause you injury or harm. Think about the names of people that you can allow inside your heart and write their names. I'm going to give you a few seconds. Great job. Outside the boundaries of this heart are people we know, acquaintances and peers. These are people we talk to, but we don't share too much with them because we don't really know if they care about us or not. They may be trustworthy, but we haven't proven that we can trust them yet. So they stay outside until we have some firm evidence. Let me say that again. They may be trustworthy or safe, but we haven't proven that we can trust them. So they stay outside until we have some firm evidence. Can you think of the names of people that would go outside your heart? What's nice about this image is that it helps us to visualize who we know we can trust and those we either know we cannot trust or else we don't know them well enough yet to allow them in. Boundaries can protect us just like having a lock on the door of the house. Take a few seconds to write those names outside the heart. Great. So, how do you explain boundaries? Boundaries are imaginary lines we draw that define our personal space and limit who we let in to our private lives. Your personal values will determine what your boundaries are. Values are like walls in the house. Whatever your values are will determine who you accept with the same values and you let them enter your space through your boundaries. You think it's wrong to gossip about someone just because you get mad at them? Then you probably won't let a person who talks bad about others inside your boundaries. And this will protect you from being talked bad about too. As we saw, even an insider, someone we trust, can end up hurting us. So it's good to have healthy boundaries with even your best friends. No one needs to know everything about us or have access to all of our life. Sometimes we've been hurt by so many people that we keep everyone out and build boundaries so high and so thick we think it's going to protect us. We're mean and sarcastic or hurt others in order to keep them away from us. That might happen because someone has hurt us very deeply, so we build big walls. That's not healthy either. Healthy boundaries recognize safe people and let them into some of our space. It also recognizes unsafe persons and keeps them at a distance. We said that our values form boundaries like the walls that protect you in your house. When you identify your beliefs or guiding values, it strengthens your boundaries. What is most important or valuable in your life? Is family important to you? What about respect? Do you believe honesty is important? If you do, does that mean you don't let a person who tells lies into a close relationship? Do you believe you're important and that you have value and should be respected? Do you cause yourself injury and hurt by your own attitudes and actions? Do you value responsibility or completing your education? What about friendship? Some people value strength or independence. What about your spiritual beliefs? These are just ideas to get you thinking about what your priorities are in life, because our priorities define what's valuable to us, our values. Our friends may look and sound very different from us, but if they share the same values, the differences don't seem very important. It's probably true that if someone does not respect your boundaries or share your values, they will probably cause you grief someday. However, you can still collaborate on many levels with persons who have different value systems when you understand and respect boundaries. It's good to learn to recognize the characteristics of safe persons because it can help you identify persons who are probably safe. Violence prevention means that you can learn to take the offensive to avoid violence and to realize that you have a choice. You choose your values and set the boundaries that can probably protect you. This information may be helpful throughout your life. If you've ever asked yourself, how can I figure out who I can trust? How can I tell when a person might end up hurting me so I can stay away? Hopefully this information may be helpful in starting you thinking about how to differentiate between persons who are safe and those who may cause you injury or harm. I hope now that you're able to point out at least two characteristics of a person who may be safe, and that you're able to show which persons you trust within your boundaries. And these are the main things I'd like to share with you about safe people.